Hello everyone, welcome back. This week I participated in the New Year's New Skills Jam. The theme was building connections. On day 1, I started by creating the player movement. For the first few days I didn't actually record that much stuff, so here you can just see the final result of it. The player can walk left and right and jump. On day 2, I started by creating the player 2 movement. You can play this game alone, but you can also play it with someone else. As well as that, I created checkpoints and some toxic water. The toxic water is an obstacle, and if you fall in it, you'll either respawn at the start or at your most recent checkpoint. This uses a pretty simple script, and it will just take you back to where you were. And all it does is it creates a marker for that. As well as that, I worked on the player upgrade menu, and this will show up when you complete a level. When you do complete a level, you can select an upgrade, and once you've selected that upgrade, you'll have that going forwards. For example, at the start, player 2's controls are inverted, and you can turn the inversion off after the first level. The upgrade system was originally going to be randomized, but I felt that it was quite difficult to get that working. In future, if I do an upgrade system again, I do hope to include that random feature. However, this time I just manually set the different upgrades after each level. As well as this, after the first level, you only get 2 options, and the third button is just used to skip and not select an upgrade. This is so that if you say want to do a run of the game without upgrades except the first one, then you can do so. On day 3, I started working on room number 1. I actually got this finished, and I also continued working on the upgrade selection screen. I also created another obstacle, which is the hooks that you can see on the top half of the screen. These hooks will do the same thing as the toxic water and will send you back to the start. I also created some endpoints which flash and then turn blue when you get to them, and then it will show the upgrade select screen, and then you can go from there. I only managed to do room 1 on the first day, but I was still pretty pleased with the progress that I'd made with the endpoint and everything to do with that. I also needed to create a level script so that I could change scene after both players were finished and you had selected your upgrade. Day 3 was also used for a bit of bug testing after I finished off the scene changing script, which is attached to every single room. And the bug testing worked really well, and I managed to iron out some of the bugs that I found in the game. Day 4 was very productive. For example, I managed to get room 2 and 3. This was a really big step since I managed to finish 2 rooms in one day. I also did more bug testing on day 4 and ironed out some more bugs. You can see that the level changing script is working, and I changed to the next level. Room 2 has some basic platforming where you can just jump on the platforms, and it's quite simple. For room 2, I ended up using room number 1's second player section since I felt like it was too difficult to be the player 2 section for level 1, but I also felt that it wasn't difficult enough to be level 3's player 2 section. It was just kind of in the middle, so I used it for level 2. On day 5, I didn't really get much done. All I managed to do was create some more of level 3 and do some moving platforms, which I actually think are pretty good, and I did manage to fix some bugs that I was having with them. Day 6 was the most productive day since I managed to finish off room 3, room 4 and room 5. This is the total amount of rooms that there will be in the game. There is 5 rooms for you to play through, and you can actually play the game right now on itch.io. As well as that, on day 6, I created the title scene and the credit scene. This was very basic since I used an add-on to do the credits, which is an incredibly useful add-on that I also used for the last game jam. The title screen was also very basic, similar again to my previous game jam's title screen, just with some different title art. As well as that, it doesn't have a secret where if you wait 3 minutes then it will just randomly put you into the game. That was an intentional secret, and if anyone found that, then well done, because you managed to see some secret dialogue, and in fact the only dialogue in the game. Now, the reason I went for a platformer for this game is because I wanted to try something different and something I haven't done since I really started with the Godot in 2020, which was a very different time for the engine. What I wanted to do was a platformer, since that was where I kind of started with the game engine, and that's what I wanted to do for this jam. As well as that, it would give a bit of different variety to what I have available for everyone on itch.io, instead of just having multiple of essentially copies of the same game with some different twists and upgrades. I had a lot of fun creating this game, and I felt like it was a really good experience for me, since I managed to create some new things that I've never done before, like Coyote Time and falling platforms. All the way back when I started in 2020, I did try to create some moving and falling platforms, but I just couldn't get it to work, and that was all down to my experience at the time. So I feel that a tip for anyone starting out is don't make something really big, don't do things that are out of reach for you. Just start with very basic things and get to know the engine that you're using before starting to do some more complex things, like moving or falling platforms. The reason I got the most done on this day is it's the day that I have most free, since it was a Saturday. I also felt like I was running out of time at this point because it was only one day until submissions were due and the jam closed. So I wasn't really feeling too much pressure at this point, but I definitely got a lot done. Day 7, the final day. I didn't really do much. I just added in some prompts on level 1 that will kind of just tell you what to do and the things that you are able to do. Very basic labels which I just wrote in, copied around and changed some of the writing. I also changed the background colour of the game to a kind of pale blue, which I think just looks much nicer. It kind of simulates a sky look, and I think it ties in really well with all of the other colours that were in the asset pack. As well as this, I just did a whole run of the game with some testing, and it worked really well, and I think that the game has come out pretty fun. I think there could have been some more things that I could have done if I had more time, and I really enjoyed the experience of this game jam with just a bit less time than the previous one. Since the previous one happened over 9 days, and I feel as though since then I have become a bit more experienced, even just over about a month, and I feel that this game has a bit of polish to it. And with that, we're finished. I managed to submit the game in time for the jam, and I'm actually editing this video before the jam even closes. If you do want to play the game, it is out on itch.io, and it will be available in the description below. You can play on browser, but if you aren't able to do that because I've had some trouble with it before, then you can instead download it for Windows or Mac. But I hope you've enjoyed this video and seen how I created Itchin Ni, and I hope you enjoy the game and the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week for some more Spellcaster. Goodbye.